Welcome to the X Room podcast. We're so excited. My name is Maylee Nelson.
John Finnegan.
And today we get to obviously interview Taylor Church. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Okay, well, we're going to dive in. We have a lot of incredible, obviously, questions to ask you.
I've followed Taylor. I think I've watched every video in the last several months. I think I've consumed them all.
I've seen those likes coming in.
Dude, they're coming in, bro. I have calluses on my thumbs right now, bro, liking those things. But I think you have such a natural ability to really speak from the soul. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I wanted you to do is, like, you've done, how many interviews have you done on social?
I've done, we're doing episode 149 today.
149.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'd like, out of all the nuggets during 149 interviews, and you're putting out content on the daily, hourly basis, can you give us your top three? What are the top three nuggets that you have, or advice you have, or stories that you can share? Just riff, because you're so good at this stuff that you speak from the heart and soul. And I think that's how you capture people's hearts is you literally are authentic and real. I know those words are thrown around a lot, but you live by that.
I think what I've learned more than anything is that everybody has really similar human experiences, even if the details are drastically different. Like, we all go through life experiencing a tremendous amount of pain, a tremendous amount of joy, a tremendous amount of luck and happenstance. And so what I love is just connecting the humanity, right? And seeing what somebody's gone through and what I've gone through, and how there's beautiful commonalities there. So I think that's my number one takeaway, is that we're all incredibly similar, right? I think maybe another takeaway is that...
Let's stop you there too, because I think a lot of people going through that, they think they're on an island, they're by themselves, they're the only one feeling that. And I think what you're talking about is, when you're having these conversations, you're showing, hey, no, you're not alone. Other people have been through this or something similar, right? And it's a human experience.
It's crazy. I'll get these messages of people being like, bro, I didn't know people felt like this. I thought I was the only one. And I was like, no, dude, you're one of millions, but sometimes because our thoughts are so dark, we assume no one else is having them because it's icky. It's hard to talk about. Right. But I've found the more vulnerable I've been, the more people relate to it.
Yeah.
If I just say, like, yeah, life is really good and easy and it's always fun and I like my life, people are like, I can't really relate to that.
Yeah.
Right. It's not real.
There's one of my favorite books is called Wild at Heart. It's a non-denominational Christian book, and it talks about the fakeness in a religious setting. And it tells you the example of two guys meeting each other at church that know each other and like, hey, brother, how's it going? Oh, life's never been better. But truthfully, his daughter is actually going through drug problems. And then, how's your life? Oh, man, life is so great. And he's going through a marital problem. But because they're so fake and everything is so surface, they actually leave there not neutral. They leave there worse off because they think they're the only ones going through problems. And this guy's crushing it. This guy's so happy and life's great, but it's not the truth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I had a mentor of mine that said, if you're walking through life telling people you're like a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10 all the time, he's like, you should learn to have some empathy.
Yeah.
Because even if you are in a really wonderful period of life, and it's like borderline euphoric, everything is just connecting for you, you still know people in pain. You still know people close to you that are really going through it. So it's like, maybe don't walk around like life is perfect, But he told me the beautiful thing is to be able to learn how to really love and operate in life when you're like at a 6 out of 10, Because he's like, depression comes, immense joy comes, all these things come and go. He's like, you need to be able to operate really well and really fulfilled in a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I really love that.
Yeah.
So you had said something that is interesting. Humans, naturally, I feel like we have negative self-talk, negative behavior. Just why do you think that's the case? Like, why do you think we position ourselves with just so much dark language?
Yeah, I think it's our default setting, unfortunately.
Really? Yeah.
I think the reality is we're just so much more impacted by negative emotion. Like, if you think about during your day when something amazing happens, like take this podcast, right? This is fun. This is exciting. afterwards we'll be hyped and we'll talk about it for a minute, and then somebody will text you something that pisses you off, and you'll think about it the rest of the day, and the podcast is out the window, right? And it's like, that's just how we're wired. Negative emotion impacts us more. And so we have to fight against that. We have to be vigilant and say, like, okay, my whole day isn't this bad text, right? And to look at the moments of joy and really sort of like underscore them and be like, no, my day was like 8 really awesome things and 2 mediocre things that bugged me a little bit. So it wasn't a bad day. You know, that's another nugget I think I've learned is I don't really believe in bad days anymore. I just don't believe in them.
How do you frame them?
I just say every day is going to be this plethora of different emotions. And some days it's going to be overwhelmingly negative, and it's going to be, there's even days that are catastrophic, but I'm going to be like, there's also beautiful things to focus on and to see every single day. And so those are the things I'm going to focus on. And if you do the opposite, you're going to have bad day after bad day after bad day.
Spiral.
And so I'm like, I'm not even going to say, oh, today was a good day.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be like, today was Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know? And
Right.
and yeah, there was good and there was bad and there's everything in between. And I'm going to try to have a good day tomorrow. But I think I struggled for a lot of years with feeling like, oh, today was such a bad day. And it just dovetailed into the next day.
Yeah.
You know?
It's where your focus goes, your energy flows, according to The Secret, right?
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about something, all of a sudden the energy is all around that. So if you say, I had a bad day, that's going to lead to another bad day, right? That's how it works.
So as far as, just your overall day, I feel like, so I had a mentor a long time ago actually say to me, or my question was like, oh, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. And I hear this all the time for entrepreneurs, right? And just, I think humans in general, but it's like this feeling of like, coming up for air, and then coming up for air, and they're just on this roller coaster. And he had essentially said what you just said, but I would love your take, which is just like, don't get too high, don't get too low. Just try and like, every day is just as good as the next, right?
Yeah.
Consistent.
Don't drop, don't climb, just, oh, I'm good, right? Like just, how do you stay in that equal zone? Because I think that is the key.
Yeah. I think I do a lot of things to reset myself, so if I do get a text that really bugs me and I'm just in my head and it's feeling really negative, I'm like, that's okay. I can feel sad. I can be depressed. I can have these negative emotions. Let me reset. Let me go work out. Let me go get dinner with a buddy and let me dive into my hobbies and my passions. And I know that those things always work. And so I know it doesn't work. I know just staying at home and watching TV for 4 hours doesn't really help. I know that complaining about it doesn't really help. And so I just try to have grace with myself and be like, it's fine to feel these emotions. It's fine to be like, okay, the roller coaster's down here, but let me try to reset. And even if the reset doesn't really work, I try to have grace and be like, okay, today's just a brutal day. That's fine. Like, let's try to have it be a little bit better tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. So powerful.
So good. Oh my gosh.
I keep referring because I love Maylee's story. She came from like extremely difficult. I mean, maybe you can tell them like some of the things you went through early on. Take 30 seconds to just kind of.
Yeah. I grew up in this weird FLDS cult, right? And so I have 22 siblings, 5 moms. Didn't get to go to school, so I didn't know how to learn how to read or write math of any kind. So by the time I was 11, I already knew who I was supposed to be married to. And that was wild, right? I already watched most of my siblings get married.
Are you from Colorado City?
I'm not.
Where are you from?
But it's Enterprise.
Okay.
It's like
I've
middle
been.
of kind of nowhere.
I played Enterprise High School in basketball.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you know where Enterprise is.
Yeah.
It's like at 40 miles off on a dirt road.
Okay,
There was like
sure.
a pyramid out there.
I know all
Pyramid
about
people.
it.
Yeah, that was me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was the pyramid a temple?
Yeah. Like a
Interesting.
green pyramid. It's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's wild. And so, unfortunately, because women couldn't get educated, it became this handcuff. And so when my mom and I escaped, it just was really difficult because she had nothing,
Yeah.
right? It was this idea of like, oh, well, but for her, it was so powerful because that's, why I think Sean loves it because we love our superpower moms, right? But it's just this idea of, she said, you know what? I'd rather sleep on the freaking dirt than to have someone tell you your worth.
Yeah. Totally.
And that just, for me, it gave me courage, right? It gave me that idea that I could just keep going because my mom did.
Yeah.
And even though she had no money, no credit, no nothing to her name, right? Like somehow I survived. Like I'm God, you know?
Yeah.
That's wild that you grew up in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I went to South Sevier High School,
Okay.
which is like maybe an hour and a half north, but all those small schools play each other in sports because
Totally.
they're so,
Yeah.
the regions are just weird.
Yes.
But so yeah, I've been to Enterprise, Utah, and it's funny. I was a history major in college. I wrote like a 30-page paper on the FLDS Church. So
Really?
yeah, I actually
cool.
know quite a bit about it.
Yeah. But I think that that's interesting to kind of circle back and recognize that God is good and that there is a higher power that's controlling all of this.
Yeah.
But I loved what you said as far as I feel like that is what got me through most of things that I naturally, I guess, just did without really knowing, but was just, it's okay to be sad.
Yeah.
It's okay to,
Yeah, sometimes we spiral so much because we're sad about being sad.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
we're depressed that we're
not
depressed.
giving ourselves permission to
Yeah.
feel.
You have to be able to feel things, or they just they creep up from the cellar, anyways. You know. But
Yeah. They'll show up whether you want them to or not.
yeah.
Yeah, and people can read people, you're not hiding anything either. So I think that that's an obscure thing that people do anyway. It's like, I'm going to hide all my problems. We know you have problems. Like,
Right.
you're showing it on your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So I love that you talk about that. And you talk a lot about vulnerability too with
Yeah.
like your daughter and
Oh yeah,
just being
100%.
dad.
And that's actually what attracts me to your content, because somehow you've hit this chord with people, and that's why you're getting comments from fans saying, "I didn't know this. I didn't know I thought I was the only one in that position." And you're opening up the door to really what's going on in people's lives, and that, hey, guess what? It's a human experience.
Yeah.
It's what we signed up for coming here, understanding there's going to be a lot of struggles, and the more real we can be with people, and the more upfront and meet people. I have a mentor that told me, he's like, most people live up here because, this is their surface level, but they're actually living down here and they're terrified that people find out who they really are. And if they find out that they're actually this person, they're not going to be loved anymore, right? And so you live in this unauthentic, unreal space versus actually trying to meet people where you are. And the more you do that, the more I found, and sometimes it's embarrassing, it's hard to talk about. It's like I was raised by a bookstore manager dad. I was like out there one day collecting cans in a bag, and guys from high school drove by, saw me with my dad collecting cans. That kind of stuff is hard to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's true. And the more you talk about those things, the more people actually build it's a deeper relationship you build.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting. People often just randomly will connect with something someone says because the language is a little bit different. When you talk about podcasts, people have heard these messages a million times in a million different ways, but sometimes it just hits for some reason because you phrase it a little bit different, or your story sounds a little closer to theirs.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it resonates. So that's what's really fun about it for me, is I feel like I don't need to worry about crafting what I say to like match a specific audience.
Yeah.
I don't worry about what my niche is. I just speak, and like people are gonna relate to it,
Yeah.
And I hope my guests can do the same, and they can speak and people are gonna relate to it. And that's why I don't even really worry about which episode is doing better, because I'm like, it's out of my control. Like some people are going to randomly be drawn to it, and I have no control over that.
Well, dude, it's been an honor. I would like to, Aaron, I'd love to schedule a time with you where we can actually get a good hour or two.
Sure.
And do a 3-part series. We'll do it up at his studio.
That would be
Because
awesome.
I mean, I've been consuming your stuff, and I'm a fan of what you do. I think you're really making an impact in the world.
I appreciate it, man.
So it's an absolute honor. With this is the madness going on up here.
Yeah.
Despite all this stuff, this is
right.
like the calm. This is kind of a calm before.
Calm,
Yeah,
starts-
hopefully people heard at least a couple of the things we said. Yeah.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. They
No,
definitely
we have
caught some really good
we have a
nuggets.
bunch of clips that we could pull out of what you just said, because it's always powerful what you talk about.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So it's an absolute honor.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for being
of course.
here.
Of course.
Well, with that being said, this is a wrap. We're so excited to have you continue to keep watching us. If you found value and something resonated with you, put it in the comments. We want to hear what you're struggling with, or maybe an aha moment that you had today. Thank you for watching. As always, give us a like, a heart, ring the bell, and we'll see you next time.